Throughout your existence, you have uttered phrases without realizing their profound impact. Each time you speak, you do more than simply articulate thoughts. You are actively constructing your reality. 2 words, so commonplace, so utterly unremarkable, yet they hold immense power. We employ them to articulate our feelings, our perspectives, our very essence. However, concealed within their apparent simplicity lies one of the most potent spiritual methodologies you will ever encounter. I am. Consider how frequently those 2 words depart your lips. I am fatigued. I am financially constrained. I possess no aptitude for this. I am merely striving to persevere. Or perhaps I am resilient. I am recuperating. I am prepared. Most individuals perceive these as mere pronouncements, innocuous descriptions of their current state. Yet this perception is fundamentally mistaken. Every utterance of I am serves as a directive to your subconscious mind and a signal to the quantum field. You are not merely describing your circumstances, you are actively selecting them. The phrase I am functions as the conduit between your identity and the boundless array of possibilities that envelop you. They are not passive observations, they are active initiators. Furthermore, scientific inquiry is beginning to corroborate what spiritual practitioners have long understood. When you proclaim, I am, you are not passively awaiting a future event. Instead, you are aligning yourself with a particular energetic frequency, and that frequency subsequently shapes the trajectory of your life. The crucial question then becomes, are you wielding this power with conscious intent or by default? To anchor this concept in tangible experience, consider the well-documented placebo effect. When an individual consumes a sugar pill, believing it to be a potent medicine, their physiology begins to respond as if healing were occurring. What is truly at play here? It transcends mere belief. It is rooted in identity. The individual is not merely thinking, I sincerely hope this proves effective. Rather, a deeper internal affirmation emerges, stating, I am experiencing healing. This deeply ingrained sense of identity then precipitates measurable, repeatable, and documented physiological transformations. Now, extend this principle beyond the physical realm to encompass your relationships, your financial well-being, and your life's purpose. Every facet of your existence mirrors the person you believe yourself to be, not the person you aspire to become. This distinction is absolutely critical. You do not attract what you desire. You attract that which your nervous system has been conditioned to accept as your inherent state of being, your I am. Merely engaging in positive thinking is insufficient. That operates on a superficial level. The substantive work involves recalibrating the subconscious blueprint of your identity, which governs an estimated 95% of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This blueprint is perpetually reinforced by the I am declarations you vocalize or contemplate daily. From the perspective of quantum physics, this aligns perfectly with established principles. The observer effect posits that the very act of observing a particle dictates its behavior. Consequently, what determines your observation? It is your consciousness, your anticipations, and your fundamental identity. Therefore, when you declare I am, you are harmonizing your conscious and subconscious minds with a specific manifestation of reality. This alignment initiates the collapse of the wave of infinite potentials into a singular, experienced outcome, the very one you have invoked. This is not a theoretical construct. It is intrinsically how your brain is wired. Neuroscience indicates that recurrent thoughts, particularly those imbued with emotional intensity, forge neural pathways that solidify our being. Crucially, the brain does not differentiate between a negative I am and a positive one. It simply executes instructions, constructing the reality you continuously transmit. What then are you communicating to it? It is vital to understand that I am is not merely an affirmation. It is a declaration of energetic frequency, and your inherent frequency is perpetually truthful. You can repeatedly state, I am abundant, but if your internal disposition is calibrated for scarcity, the quantum field will register and reflect that scarcity. This is precisely why the profound work involves not simply reciting affirmations, but embodying a particular identity. When you articulate "I am" with unwavering coherence, when your thoughts, emotions, and physical being are in complete alignment, you become a magnetic force, not for random chance, but for the precise vibrational resonance of the identity you have claimed for yourself. This understanding underscores the significance of this discourse. If you continue to unconsciously declare "I am" based on past traumas, limitations, or ingrained conditioning, you will persistently manifest realities that are ultimately detrimental to your well-being. Conversely, if you awaken to this truth and consciously choose your "I am" with deliberate awareness and energetic conviction, your entire existence will be transformed. In the subsequent discussion, we will delve into the intricate ways the quantum field responds to identity. We will explore the mechanics of the "I am" frequency at a subatomic level and illuminate why articulating the correct sentiment is insufficient unless you fully inhabit the version of yourself that genuinely feels, lives, and embodies that truth. For the present moment, however, pause, take a deep breath, and pose the question to yourself: what have I been communicating to the universe as my identity? The answer to that question is the very life you are currently experiencing. To fully grasp the immense power of the phrase "I am," we must venture into a domain where scientific understanding and spiritual wisdom converge, the quantum realm. It is within this unseen field of potential that your identity transcends mere psychological construct and becomes a tangible vibration. The undeniable truth is that you have, all along, been shaping reality through your consciousness, albeit without intentional direction. Let us commence with a foundational concept in quantum physics, the observer effect. This principle establishes that the mere act of observation influences the outcome of quantum-level events. For instance, electrons exist as probabilistic clouds, a spectrum of potential states, until they are observed. The instant we look, measure, or direct our focus, this wave collapses, solidifying into a discrete particle, a specific location, a tangible reality. In essence, observation creates the conditions necessary for manifestation. Now, apply this to your own life. Your attention, your focus, your expectations. These are not passive mental states. They are acts of quantum observation, and nothing more clearly reveals your focal point than the phrase "I am." When you utter "I am," you are not simply observing, you are solidifying your identity. You are locking in a particular self-perception, and the quantum field responds accordingly. You are not merely an observer, you are the active selector. This is precisely where many individuals falter. They endeavor to manifest desired outcomes, wealth, love, health, by focusing intently on these external goals. However, wanting is not the same as observing. Wishing is not the same as declaring. The quantum field does not respond to your hopes. It responds to your fundamental identity, and your identity is broadcasted every single time you utter or internally feel "I am." This differentiates passive intention from active coherence. You may repeat "I am abundant" 100 times, but if your internal energetic state remains calibrated for scarcity, the wave will not collapse into abundance. The frequency will not match. The quantum field does not misinterpret you. It accurately mirrors you. This is why Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that your personality is the architect of your personal reality. Your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors collectively generate an electromagnetic signature that communicates directly with the quantum field, and your identity, your "I am," serves as the central nexus of this signal. Consider it analogous to tuning a radio receiver. The station you tune into is dictated by the frequency you select. You will not receive the broadcast from station 104.7 FM if your dial is set to 87.3. This is not a matter of personal bias. It is an immutable law of physics. Similarly, you cannot receive the experience of love, peace, or abundance if your identity is fundamentally attuned to lack, fear, or doubt. Now let us explore an even more empowering aspect of this concept. According to physicist John Wheeler, reality is not a fixed entity that we merely observe. It is an interactive phenomenon. He articulated, "We live in a participatory universe." In other words, reality remains in a state of incompleteness until we actively engage with it. Your consciousness is not a passive passenger in this process. It is the sculptor, and I am is the tool. When you declare, "I am healthy," and genuinely feel that vitality coursing through your physical form, when your cells resonate with that affirmation and your energy aligns with the signal of wellness, you are not petitioning the universe for health. You are, in fact, collapsing into the specific version of yourself that already exists in a state of perfect health. The quantum field does not require persuasion, it requires coherence. This is the profound secret that often goes unacknowledged. Every conceivable version of you already exists. The confident you, the healed you, the prosperous you, the enlightened you, all are real, existing within the quantum field as distinct wave patterns, as tangible as your present reality. I am is the mechanism by which you choose which of these latent identities to animate. However, herein lies the challenge. The majority of us construct our I am narrative inadvertently, shaped by trauma, through relentless repetition, or by external validation from others. You did not consciously choose to declare, "I am insufficient." That narrative was likely acquired during childhood, influenced by societal norms, or embedded through conditioning. Once it became familiar, it solidified into your default operating system, an identity you didn't intentionally select, but continue to inhabit. It is now imperative to disrupt this cycle, for you possess the knowledge that identity is not static. It is fluid. It is quantum. You are not defined by your past experiences or ingrained behavioral patterns. You are the observer, the field, the frequency, and you possess the power to reselect your identity at any given moment. As Neville Goddard so eloquently stated, "Claim it, feel it, and it will be yours." He was not advocating for mere wishful thinking. He was elucidating the precise mechanism of quantum embodiment. When you claim "I am" and achieve emotional, neurological, and energetic alignment with that envisioned version of yourself, the quantum field is compelled to respond. This is not due to some esoteric magic, but because it operates under immutable laws. Consequently, this has profound implications for your life. Your next significant breakthrough, your next paradigm shift, will not arise solely from strenuous effort, but from genuine embodiment. It stems not from robotically repeating "I am," but from actively becoming that identity. In the subsequent discourse, we will bridge the gap between scientific understanding and your inner being. We will explore how spiritual teachings from figures like Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shinn, alongside ancient scriptures, converge on a singular truth. You are the I am. And the very moment you claim this identity with authentic coherence, you step into a new narrative, one that has been patiently awaiting your arrival. Until then, reflect on this. If every I am declaration serves as a directive to the universe, what identity have I been consistently instructing reality to manifest? There arrives a pivotal moment in every spiritual awakening journey when the realization dawns that your external circumstances are not the source of your suffering, but merely a reflection. Your outer world is not acting punitively towards you. It is mirroring you. It reflects not what you claim to desire, but who you fundamentally believe yourself to be. This represents the crucial spiritual insight regarding the I am frequency that eludes most individuals. You do not receive that for which you ask. You receive that which you embody. If the universe functions as a mirror, then I am is the indelible imprint you leave upon its surface. It is the vibrational signal that dictates to reality what it should reflect. This is not merely poetic spiritual expression. It is a practical roadmap, a truth echoed through centuries by mystics and teachers who grasped this concept long before the advent of quantum physics. Neville Goddard, a particularly lucid proponent of metaphysical manifestation, asserted that imagination and identity are intrinsically linked. He declared, "You become what you claim I am to be. If you persist in that assumption, it will harden into fact. Observe that he did not state you become what you think, but rather what you claim, for claiming is not a passive act. It is a definitive spiritual decision, a declaration of vibrational stance. Therefore, let us be candid. What have you been claiming recently? I am overwhelmed. I am stagnant. I am trying, but nothing is yielding results. It is not erroneous to voice these sentiments. It is intrinsically human. However, each time you articulate them, you are donning a specific vibrational attire. You are essentially conveying to the mirror, "This is my inherent identity." And the mirror, devoid of judgment, responds, "As you wish." But what if you shifted your focus from asking the mirror to display something new, and instead fundamentally transformed into someone new before it? That is the paradigm shift. You do not await the feeling of confidence before declaring, "I am confident." Instead, you make that declaration, allowing the emerging identity to begin the process of rewiring your entire being. You do not wait for love to manifest before proclaiming, "I am love." Rather, you proclaim it, thereby becoming the beacon that attracts what resonates with that frequency, because your external reality invariably aligns with your internal declarations. This is the juncture where scientific understanding and spiritual truth intersect. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research demonstrates that when individuals achieve a state of profound meditative coherence, actively rehearsing a new identity with corresponding emotional, neurological, and energetic states, their brain and body begin to respond as if the new reality is already in effect. Hormonal profiles shift, neural pathways are reconfigured, and cells begin to express a new genetic code. The quantum field subsequently begins to mirror this updated frequency. This is not merely a matter of shifting one's mindset, it is about embodiment. The crucial realization is that the version of yourself you have been anticipating is not located in some distant future. It already exists within the quantum field as a latent potential, and every time you articulate "I am" with genuine coherence, you are, in effect, tuning into that specific version, much like aligning with a broadcast signal. You are not fabricating this new reality, you are remembering it. Florence Scovel Shinn referred to this as the divine pattern, stating, "There is a place that you are to fill, and no one else can fill it. Something you are to do, which no one else can do. That designated place is not external. It is a vibrational space, a specific frequency, a version of yourself that inherently understands the sensation of wholeness, recognition, inherent worth, and profound power. I Am serves as the spiritual navigation system that guides you to this state, not through arduous effort, but through harmonious alignment. However, let us be candid. This process is not about pretense. You cannot declare, "I am successful," while simultaneously vibrating with fear and expect the universe to be deceived. The quantum field does not respond to your spoken words. It responds to your underlying energetic state. This is why the path of I Am is not about feigning. It is about genuine transformation. This is where the authentic evolution commences, when you transition from mere articulation to actual embodiment. And yes, this process can be uncomfortable, for embracing a new identity necessitates relinquishing the one that offers a sense of safety, the one that has guided you thus far, the one that may have been forged through hardship, protection, or survival instincts. But make no mistake, a mode of survival is not your ultimate dwelling place. It is merely a temporary passage. I Am represents the gateway. Therefore, what might occur if, starting today, without delay, you granted yourself permission to declare the inherent truth your soul already perceives? I am not fractured. I am in the process of becoming. I am not behind schedule. I am precisely on time. I am not lost. I am aligned. Experience the distinction. You are not endeavoring to manifest an external object. You are activating an intrinsic self, a self that already exists, that already possesses knowledge, that already radiates from the quantum field. All you are doing is remembering how to communicate from that core essence, because in the quantum universe, time is not a linear progression. Every conceivable version of you exists concurrently, and when you align with that identity, when you genuinely feel it, live it, and speak it, that specific version becomes accessible. The mirror shifts its reflection, and your reality reorganizes itself. And the truth is, you require no external validation, no irrefutable proof. You merely need to make a definitive choice. In the ensuing segment, we will confront the inevitable friction that often arises during this transformative process. The internal resistance, the seeds of doubt, and the subconscious patterns that whisper, "This cannot be so simple." We will then explore effective strategies for dismantling these internal barriers and reprogramming your energetic field from within. However, before we proceed, take a moment for sincere introspection. If the mirror of your reality is reflecting your identity, what aspect of yourself am I prepared to relinquish, and what version am I finally ready to claim? By this juncture, you have likely experienced it, that subtle spark of inherent power when you articulate a declaration such as, "I am liberated," or "I am prosperous." It resonates deeply, stirring something ancient within you. Yet, almost instantaneously, a counter voice emerges, quiet yet insistent. "No, you are not." This internal dialogue often masquerades as rational thought and feels undeniably real, but it is, in fact, resistance. And if you misunderstand the dynamics at play in that precise moment, you might conclude that the process is ineffective, when, in reality, it is merely initiating. To be unequivocally clear, resistance is not an indicator of failure. It is a manifestation of the energetic friction between your current identity and your expanded, desired identity. You are not undertaking this process incorrectly. You are awakening. Consider it in this manner. Every time you articulate "I am" with a new declaration, you are integrating a novel frequency into your system. However, your subconscious mind, programmed to safeguard you based on accumulated past data, will immediately scrutinize this assertion for any perceived inconsistency. It will contend that is not consistent with who we are. This response is not born of malice, but from a deeply ingrained belief that it is preserving your safety. This presents a paradox inherent in personal transformation. Your nervous system is wired for familiarity, not necessarily for ultimate fulfillment. Consequently, even if the new identity feels exhilarating, "I am worthy," "I am successful," your body may experience tension. Your thoughts might spiral into old narratives, and your ingrained stories will attempt to reassert dominance. This is not an act of sabotage. It is a manifestation of outdated programming, and your purpose now is to rewrite that programming. But how do you accomplish this? It commences with the fundamental understanding that your subconscious mind doesn't respond to logical arguments. It is receptive to repetition, emotional engagement, and consistent embodiment. If your objective is to dissolve resistance, merely contemplating a new thought is insufficient. You must actively feel yourself embodying a new self. This is where coherence emerges as your most potent asset. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research highlights that when your heart and brain achieve a state of coherence, that is, when they are synchronized both emotionally and electrically, your energetic field becomes more ordered, your nervous system calms, your physical being becomes receptive, and your intentions project a clear, unambiguous signal to the quantum field. The objective is not to announce "I am" with greater volume, but to articulate it from a physical vessel that genuinely believes it. Therefore, here is a simple yet profoundly effective practice to cultivate that state. Engage in this daily, particularly when your old identity attempts to reassert its dominion. It is the quantum coherence exercise, embodying your new "I am." Let us begin. Sit comfortably with your spine erect. Gently close your eyes. Take several deep breaths, directing your awareness to your heart space. Bring to mind the specific identity you wish to activate. Select a single, clear declaration. For instance, "I am secure," "I am magnetic," or "I am liberated." Now, imbue that declaration with feeling. Envision what it would genuinely be like to fully inhabit that identity. What would you observe? How would you carry yourself? How would others perceive your energy? Immerse yourself in the emotion, not merely the words. Allow your body to begin internalizing this new belief. A gentle smile can be beneficial. Breathe as that version of yourself. Allow yourself to relax into that identity. Anchor that state of being. With your hand placed gently over your heart, repeat slowly and with profound meaning. I am the frequency of my reality. Remain in this state of quiet contemplation. Allow the quantum field to recalibrate. Permit your nervous system to integrate this upgrade. Simply be present. You see, when you consistently engage in this practice, something remarkable begins to unfold. The resistance gradually diminishes. The familiar inner voice fades, not because you engaged in a struggle against it, but because you ceased to provide it with sustenance. You are not attempting to forcibly impose a new belief. Rather, you are teaching your body, through the modalities of emotion and coherence, that this new identity is a safe and welcome state. Once it feels safe, it becomes familiar. And once it becomes familiar, it transitions into your normal. And once it becomes normal, the mirror of your reality begins to reflect it. This is the process by which you become someone new, not by awaiting external validation, but by embodying the evidence of that transformation yourself. Therefore, let us revisit the fundamental mechanics of this phenomenon. You are not merely rewiring your brain, you are recoding your entire electromagnetic field. You are shifting the dominant signal that the quantum universe perceives and responds to. Over time, the individuals, opportunities, and experiences that align with your newly established I am will naturally gravitate towards you. This occurs not because you pursued them, but because you have become the precise vibrational resonance that attracts them. However, here is a critical element that is frequently overlooked: consistency. Repetition is the language that communicates to the quantum field, "This is my current identity." It is not about uttering, "I am powerful," on a single occasion and then passively awaiting results. It is about establishing that state as a consistent return point, even when external circumstances have not yet visibly changed. This is what renders you formidable to limitation and undeniably magnetic. And so, before we advance to the next phase, the timeline shift that accompanies the stabilization of your new frequency, take a moment to reflect. You are not broken. You are not behind schedule. You are actively engaged in the process of remembering your true essence, and that act of remembering commences with a declaration. Please share in the comments below. I am the frequency of my new reality. Let this serve as a definitive marker, a signal to the quantum field, and a confirmation that the internal rewrite has already commenced. Indeed, it has. There exists a version of you that already inhabits the very life you aspire to create. This is a version that experiences no doubt, exhibits no hesitation, and does not question the possibility of its realization, because, for them, it is already a lived reality. They have made the quantum leap and are now residing within a timeline where your aspirations are not mere dreams, but established norms, and that version of you is not beyond reach. It is patiently awaiting your attunement. This is where all the concepts we have explored thus far converge. Because when you articulate I am, you are not simply voicing new beliefs, you are recalibrating your energetic frequency. And by adjusting your frequency, you are not merely altering your internal emotional state, you are fundamentally shifting what you are aligned with within the quantum field. This is the genuine underlying principle behind what many refer to as timeline jumping. Let us be unequivocally clear, you are not altering the external reality. Rather, you are shaping which aspect of yourself the universe reflects. From a quantum perspective, every conceivable version of you already exists as a probability wave. You are presently immersed in infinite temporal streams, each corresponding to a distinct state of awareness, a different I am. The reality where you remain trapped, overwhelmed, or adrift is indeed real. However, so too is the reality where you have reclaimed your inherent value, embraced your prosperity, and stepped into love. What differentiates these streams? It's not duration, exertion, or fortune, but resonance. The iteration of you inhabiting temporal stream A transmits a distinct vibrational signal compared to the iteration in temporal stream B. This signal, this self-identity, is chosen moment by moment through your deeply held feelings and convictions about yourself. This is precisely why the declaration, "I am," transcends mere affirmation. It serves as a gateway. Suppose you begin to proclaim, "I am confident, I am prepared, I am already experiencing the life I once anticipated." When accompanied by emotional congruence and physiological harmony, you start to align with that particular iteration. The universal field then reconfigures itself around this chosen identity. Subtle transformations occur. Your bearing shifts. Your choices evolve. You cease tolerating circumstances that no longer serve you. You begin to perceive meaningful coincidences, encountering people and concepts that resonate with your new temporal stream. You haven't forced a change, you've attuned yourself to one. Consequently, the former temporal stream gradually diminishes, not because it's eradicated, but because you've withdrawn your energy from it. This is the often unspoken truth. Past realities do not require confrontation. They simply need to be disengaged from. Your focus is the very currency of creation. What you cease to energize dissolves. What you embody expands. This is not figurative. It is quantifiable. Your thoughts generate electrical signals. Your emotions produce magnetic fields. Together, these forge the electromagnetic signature of your identity, and it is this signal that dictates your temporal stream selection. When your internal landscape aligns with a new "I am," the external world recalibrates. This doesn't happen instantaneously or dramatically, but rather through a seamless integration, like interlocking gears. What once seemed distant becomes palpable, natural, and familiar. This is because, for the version of you already living it, it simply is. And the most empowering aspect is that you don't need to know the how, you only need to know the who. Your role is not to meticulously manage the quantum field. Your true purpose is to inhabit the version of yourself that already possesses mastery. This entails acting, feeling, and deciding as if it is already a settled fact. For the quantum field doesn't respond to procrastination, it responds to the present moment. This echoes the sentiment of Neville Goddard when he advised, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Not merely visualize or hope. Assume it, inhabit it, live within it until the world conforms. Eventually, it will feel less like a practice and more like your inherent state." That's the indicator of your transition. Not because everything appears drastically altered, but because you have changed. Your reactions differ, your demeanor shifts. You no longer pursue the future, you embody it, and those around you will sense this transformation. Even if they cannot articulate it, they will remark, "You've changed," and they will be correct. You have. Therefore, if you've been anticipating a definitive signal to make a choice, this is it. It's not about self-improvement or proving yourself, but about aligning with what already exists, with the frequency that inherently understands. You are not in the process of becoming, you are in the process of remembering. In the subsequent and concluding chapter, we will solidify this journey. We will anchor the most crucial realization of all, that your new self is not an endpoint, but a homecoming, a return to the iteration of you that never forgot. You've been conditioned to look ahead, to pursue, to strive, to ascend toward a superior version of yourself, residing just beyond the next significant achievement. But what if that version wasn't external to you, but resided within? What if the new you wasn't something you needed to construct, but something you needed to unveil? Because here lies the ultimate and most liberating truth. The new you already exists, not as a metaphor or a hypothetical, but as a vibratory frequency, stored within the quantum field in its complete form. It awaits your alignment, awaiting your declaration of "I am." You do not need to invent her. You do not need to earn him. You simply need to recall the sensation of living as them, and then choose, moment by moment, to embody that memory in motion. Every sensation you've experienced throughout this journey, the resonance of truth, the friction of resistance, the potency of coherence, has been guiding you back to your core essence, not the self defined by past hurts, mere survival, or external approval, but the self that transcends all conditions, the one that has always known, I am sufficient, I am boundless, I am home. You were never truly separated, merely diverted, and now you remember. Let's personalize this. Examine your current existence, not with judgment, but as a reflective surface. Ask yourself, what I am has been orchestrating your life? Which identity have you been rehearsing through your routines, your thoughts, your expressions? Because whatever you have consistently repeated, you have become. But today marks a turning point. Today, your awareness has expanded, and with increased awareness comes a higher vibration. And with a higher vibration, you become incompatible with anything that doesn't resonate with your new frequency. You require no further validation to embody the new you. Your very embodiment is the proof. And yes, your surroundings might not immediately reflect this change. Your financial situation may still appear constrained. Your relationships may continue to mirror your former self. But here is the pivotal insight that transforms everything. Reality operates with a temporal lag. Much like the stars we observe in the night sky, many have ceased to exist light years ago, yet their illumination is only now reaching us. In a similar fashion, your present circumstances are the residual echo of a past identity. What you perceive is not your current state of being, but who you once were. And once you fully accept this, the delay transforms from a source of anxiety into a promise. For if your current life is a consequence of who you were, imagine what is already en route from the you that you have just become. You no longer need to compel anything. You no longer need to implore the universe to deliver what has already been embedded within your energetic field. You are no longer a seeker. You are a selector. And I am is your instrument of choice. Therefore, as this journey concludes, the invitation is straightforward. Cease waiting, abandon hoping, and simply become. And if you wish to delve deeper, if you are prepared to solidify this transformation from a fleeting moment into an enduring movement within your soul, I have created something powerful for you. It's called Awaken Your Quantum Power, a guide meticulously designed to help you fully embrace the identity shifts we have explored. Within its pages, you will discover practical strategies, daily practices, and profound teachings to dismantle the old self and anchor your new temporal stream. The link is readily available in the pinned comment, beckoning you into something more significant, a new reality, a fresh resonance, and a renewed you that was never truly lost, merely awaiting your affirmation, I am.